He was a man who loved money and pleasure. His boyfriend was a top-tier alpha. The alpha had a cherished memory of someone else. Leo only cherished the balance in his bank account. Their arrangement was mutually beneficial. It worked perfectly until Caleb announced his engagement. Leo immediately took the $1 million Caleb gave him. He disappeared without a second thought. Then he discovered he was pregnant. He prepared to terminate the pregnancy. A small voice spoke inside his head. "Silly Papa, you want to get rid of me? I am worth $50 million. Your other father is going crazy looking for you. The basement and its special toys are all ready." Leo's eyes widened. $50 million? He first saw the news on a celebrity gossip site. Caleb was meeting his beautiful Omega love at a hotel. They had just finished their own intense encounter. Leo curled up under the sheets, covered in marks. The scent of basil, Caleb's scent, filled the room. It wrapped tightly around him. Leo, being a beta, could not smell pheromones. He also did not produce any of his own. Caleb often marked the back of his neck, but the basil scent never lingered on his skin. The man in the news photo sat on a bed. He was pulling on a shirt over a back full of scratches. The photo was blurry, but the Omega was stunning. The headline hinted at a wedding. A wedding? Leo turned off his phone. He peeked out from under the covers. He watched Caleb with a steady gaze. He quietly asked if Caleb was getting married. Caleb did not answer the question. His strong hand reached under the blanket. It closed around Leo's ankle. His handsome face held a casual expression. The alpha's presence was overwhelming and aggressive. His blue-gray eyes were dark like a deep pool. Leo's neck, bitten raw, began to sting. He suspected Caleb was releasing pheromones again. But he had no proof. He could not smell them. He shifted his body slightly. A dull ache radiated from his lower back. He bit his lip. He tried to sound nonchalant. He asked how much longer their arrangement would last. This directly related to his financial planning. But Caleb seemed not to hear him. He was focused entirely on Leo's face. A muscle in his throat moved. A bad feeling bloomed in Leo's chest. He instinctively tried to escape. He was not fast enough. Caleb pressed him firmly back into the mattress. Again, Caleb whispered. Leo lay there, feeling lifeless. He repeated a mantra in his mind. Money, money, money. He was paid to do a job. The repetition was a form of self-hypnosis. Eventually, the feeling became bearable. After it was over, Caleb finally answered. He covered Leo's eyes with his hand. A kiss landed gently on his forehead. Caleb's voice was a low whisper, almost a sigh. He said it would be over soon. Very soon. Leo did not move. He waited for the sound of the door closing. The room fell into absolute silence. He finally opened his eyes. The sudden light was too bright. His eyes watered from the strain. He quickly wiped the tears away. He opened his banking app on his phone. The balance was approaching 8 figures. All the transfers were marked as voluntary gifts. His body ached as he wrote his resignation letter. He scheduled it to send automatically in 3 days. Then he booked a one-way flight to a coastal island. Only then did he climb out of bed. He could not take the luxury goods Caleb bought him. They were not documented as gifts. He could not resell them. He said a painful goodbye to the closet full of money. He went downstairs. The housekeeper was polishing a large window. The man smiled warmly at him. He greeted him. "Mr. Leo, you're awake." Leo paused on the staircase. His social anxiety flared up. He avoided eye contact and just nodded. The housekeeper asked about breakfast. He asked if he preferred something sweet or savory. The young master enjoyed a savory breakfast. And you, Mr. Leo? Leo pressed his lips together and looked up. The housekeeper understood immediately. Are you going to the garden then? Yes, he mumbled. That's right. Leo was relieved by the man's intuition. Do you need company? The housekeeper asked. Leo shook his head. His voice was quiet. No, thank you. Don't trouble yourself. He then hurried out of the room. He was afraid he would be stopped. Outside the main gate, he looked back. The magnificent mansion was a source of regret. He wished he could have sold it. With a heavy heart, he called a car to the airport. He had just boarded the plane when Caleb texted. Leo, are you awake? A notification for a $10,000 transfer appeared. The memo read, a voluntary gift. Another message came through. Another transfer. 20,000. For having lunch with me. 30,000. For answering my text. Leo ignored the words. He focused only on the money transfers. He accepted each one efficiently. Then he typed a quick reply. Okay. Thanks, honey. After sending the message, Caleb sent 100,000. Leo happily accepted the money. Then he blocked Caleb's number and deleted his contact. He pulled the SIM card from his phone. He turned the device off completely. He watched the clouds drift by outside the window. He closed his eyes, feeling a profound sense of peace. When he woke, he had arrived at the island. He admired the scenery while searching for a house. He finally bought a small 2-story cottage. It had a garden in the front. It had a vegetable patch in the back. With the house secured, his new life began. He started eating everything he wanted. He enjoyed rich, expensive meals. He gained 5 pounds in a single month. During that time, he saw no news about himself online. He did see articles about Caleb and his Omega partner. They were photographed leaving the office together. Leo felt a sense of relief. Caleb was busy with his wedding plans. He would have no time to chase after a former lover, especially not a beta. He looked at his ordinary reflection in the mirror. He smiled to himself. He picked up his phone to order some food. A sudden wave of nausea rose in his throat. He ran to the bathroom and was violently sick. As he retched, he thought in disbelief. Couldn't be. It was impossible. Hello, Mr. Leo. You are 3 weeks pregnant. The doctor's words were like a lightning strike. He heard himself ask a stammering question. Can it be terminated? The doctor gave him a pointed look. New federal law requires consent from both parents. My partner, he began, gritting his teeth. He's dead. The doctor nodded calmly. Please provide a death certificate. Leo felt dizzy. Who would dare issue a death certificate for Caleb? Is there really no other way? He asked desperately. As he pleaded, he heard a new voice. It was small, childish, and furious. Silly Papa, you want to get rid of me? Do you know I'm worth $50 million? And Father is going crazy looking for you. The basement and all the unspeakable things are ready. $50 million? Leo hesitated for a fraction of a second. Who was speaking? He looked down at his own flat stomach. His eyes widened behind his thick-framed glasses. Was he seeing ghosts? Who are you? He thought, holding a cheap charm. There was no answer. The little voice continued its monologue. Papa is so mean. He wants to get rid of me. I'm a super smart and good baby. The once proud voice began to sound dejected. But Papa doesn't like good babies. What should I do? Leo's heart instantly softened. He placed his palm on his barely there belly. He moved his hand up and down in an awkward gesture. It was meant to be comforting. Is Papa comforting me? Humph. I knew he'd have a soft spot for me. Besides, Father will give Papa $50 million. I am incredibly valuable. A secret smile touched Leo's lips. The baby's heartbeat seemed to travel through his palm. synced with his own pulse. Felt like his own heart was beating in rhythm. Is Papa going to keep me? Suddenly feels so warm. The baby's tone became cheerful. It even started humming a little off-key tune. This was a person connected to him by blood. Besides his distant family, his only relative. Leo, should you keep him? Yes, Leo. Keep him. His heart gave him the answer. He tore up the appointment for the Beta abortion clinic. He looked out the window at a newly budded tree. He whispered, I'll call you Kai. It was a good, strong name. The little one in his belly seemed to hear him. Did Papa just give me a name? Is it Kai? Is it Papa? Leo tapped his stomach lightly. It was a silent confirmation. Kai let out a little wow. The milky voice was irresistible. Kai, that sounds nice. And so, Leo and Kai settled on the island. His landlady was a kind Omega woman. She assumed he had been abandoned because he was a Beta. She took great care of him. When Kai was 3 months along, she reminded him, you need to go for a prenatal checkup. Leo had completely forgotten about it. He looked down at his slightly protruding belly. He sighed. The checkup required both parents. Where would he find an alpha? The landlady saw his distress. She patted his hand reassuringly. I have an idea. At the hospital entrance, Leo stared. He saw an alpha in a perfectly tailored suit. He felt awkward. You are Mrs. Gable's nephew? The alpha was tall and well-built. His face had a youthful shyness. Yes, I'm Ryan. My aunt asked me to help. This was his landlady's solution. Well, it would have to do. It was just an exam. No marriage certificate needed. He tried to relax. Well then, thank you for your trouble. Ryan's handsome face broke into a shy smile. He went ahead to handle the registration. Leo followed, lost in thought. Beautiful, top-tier alphas like Caleb were rare. He wondered what Caleb was doing now. Probably preparing for his wedding. He stared down at the marble floor. Not as handsome as my father. And definitely not as rich. Kai's proud voice echoed in his mind. Leo's unease instantly vanished. The checkup was quick. The doctor noted he was a male Beta. He gave him a list of special precautions. The whole process took less than 2 hours. Leo held the ultrasound image. He thanked Ryan again for his help. Ryan scratched his head. It was nothing, Leo. Really. Because he was the landlady's nephew, Leo felt comfortable. Ryan was also a good conversationalist. The atmosphere slowly relaxed. They chatted while walking towards the elevator. As they passed a corner, a chill ran down his spine. He felt like he was being watched by a predator. Before he could react, Kai's voice shouted, Father, Papa, turn around. His father. He did not dare turn around. He started to run. A voice, painfully familiar, called out from behind. Leo, why are you running? His scalp tingled. Every cell in his body screamed at him to flee, but his feet were frozen to the spot. He gritted his teeth, about to force himself forward. A pair of cool hands cupped his face from behind. Leo, did you have fun these past few months? Caleb's words were soft. They carried a dark, damp undertone. It was as if he wanted to devour him whole. Leo swallowed hard, trying to stay calm. What a coincidence. Coincidence? Caleb's hand slid to his waist. Guess why I'm here? To catch me? The idea seemed too absurd. He suppressed his frantic heartbeat. He turned around. Caleb's beautiful face filled his vision. His heart skipped a beat, but only for a moment. He lowered his gaze. Caleb let out a soft laugh. Why did you run? Was I not good to you? Leo clenched his fists. He met Caleb's gray-blue eyes. You were very good to me. Then why did you run? Caleb forced the words through his teeth. Apart from their time in bed, this was a first. He had never seen Caleb so angry. Caleb was always composed, effortlessly elegant. A true gentleman, as the media called him. Now, that gentleman looked like a debt collector. Leo instinctively stepped back. Caleb grabbed his arm. His eyes darkened instantly. "Are you afraid of me?" How could he not be afraid? What if Caleb demanded the money back? He bit the inside of his cheek, completely lost. "Caleb," a displeased voice called out. Leo looked up. He saw the person from the news articles. Caleb's top-tier Omega fiancé. A top alpha and a top Omega made a stunning pair. Leo sighed internally. It was over. Caleb was definitely here for his money. Why else would he seek him out with his fiancé present? But surely a powerful CEO wouldn't stoop so low. Would a rich man ask for gifts back? While he was pondering, the Omega approached. He slapped Caleb playfully on the back of the head. Then he pushed Caleb aside. He gently took Leo's hand. "Hello there. I'm Alex, Caleb's older brother." Brother? But Caleb was an only child. Alex saw the confusion on Leo's face. He looked surprised. "He didn't explain it to you?" "Explain what?" Leo was bewildered. Alex had a moment of realization. He shot Caleb a frustrated glare. "What is your mouth for? You let him run away without even knowing why. Are you an idiot? No wonder you've been so gloomy lately. You don't even know how to chase after him." Still not satisfied, Alex kicked Caleb's shin. "Explain yourself, you fool." "Never mind. You're useless." Alex held Leo's hand tightly. "My family situation is complicated. My existence wasn't made public. But I really am his brother. Don't believe what you read in the news. That was my parents' scheme to find me a partner." Leo's mind was still processing this information. Alex saw his blank expression and grew anxious. "Do you want to see a DNA test?" Leo tilted his head. "What DNA test?" "To prove Caleb and I are brothers, of course. We're in a hospital. We can clear this up now. Misunderstandings can ruin relationships." "Oh, by the way, are you here because you're sick?" Leo opened his mouth to explain. Alex didn't give him a chance. "Caleb has a private hospital. It opened 3 months ago. You should go there for a checkup." Leo tried to refuse. "No, mister. Alex, it's nothing serious." "Nothing serious?" Caleb finally pushed Alex aside. His eyes were dark as he stared at Leo. "Then why are you holding your stomach?" Leo instantly dropped his hands. He immediately realized his mistake. He licked his lips. He tried to explain with his head down. "I just ate too much." Caleb's lips curved into a half-smile. "Is that so?" Leo nodded, desperate to get away. He mumbled, "I have to go now." Caleb released his arm. Leo's heart leaped with joy. He turned to leave. The next second, the world spun. Caleb had swept him up into his arms. Leo froze for a moment, then began to struggle. Caleb loosened his grip slightly. The sudden feeling of falling scared him. He quickly wrapped his arms around Caleb's neck. Caleb looked down at him. His back was to the light. Leo couldn't see his expression clearly. "Leo, don't move. I don't want to do this right now." Leo became still. Caleb seemed satisfied. He placed a kiss on Leo's forehead. He strode towards the exit. Alex shouted from behind him, "Caleb, control yourself. Remember the doctor's words. Don't be a maniac and scare him." Leo caught the keywords. The doctor's words. Maniac. He glanced at Caleb's beautiful but shadowed face. His body tensed. This situation seemed to be getting worse. Caleb placed him in the car. Leo tried to open the door when he wasn't looking, but Caleb followed him right in. He wrapped an arm around Leo's waist. He did not let go. The space inside the car was small. Leo thought he could smell the faint scent of basil. It was mixed with a bitter note, as if it had soured. He didn't pay it much mind. Caleb's phone buzzed continuously. He simply turned it off. Back to Blackwood Manor. A thought crossed Leo's mind. How many manors did Caleb own? Father doesn't just have manors. He has castles. But why did he choose this manor? Because it has unspeakable things. Father has been repressed for so long. Now he's a complete mad dog. Papa is in for it. Kai's cheerful little voice rang out. Leo's eyes widened in horror. Unspeakable things? Caleb? A mad dog? Impossible. He cautiously glanced at the man beside him. He couldn't connect the elegant Caleb with that image. Caleb noticed his gaze. He reached out and brushed Leo's bangs aside. He took off his glasses. Leo's world became a blur. Only Caleb remained in sharp focus. What are you thinking about? You're trembling all over. Poor thing. What are you afraid of? I'm not going to eat you. At most, I'll fuck you to death. What did he just hear? Leo tried to shrink back in fear. Caleb held him firmly in place. The distance between them was too small. He could clearly hear the strange tone in Caleb's voice, and the eager anticipation. He was serious. Caleb really wanted to kill him. Leo opened his mouth to speak. Caleb placed a kiss on his forehead. Then he pulled him into his arms. Sleep now. We'll be home when you wake up. His voice was low and soft. It was accompanied by a faint, sweet scent. Stupid Papa. Don't breathe. Father drugged you. Oh, you're so much trouble. Leo could barely hear Kai's frantic shouts. His eyelids grew heavy. His consciousness became fuzzy. Before he fell asleep completely, he sank into a warm embrace. A soft sigh whispered in his ear. It was filled with darkness and obsession. Poor thing. My illness was almost cured. Baby, why did you have to run? He tried to speak, but was pulled into darkness. He dreamt of the first time he met Caleb. He was a beta, an utterly unremarkable existence. His family looked down on him. All resources were given to his alpha brother. The family lived in an upscale community, but his tuition was always paid last. His clothes never fit properly. It wasn't a lack of money. It was a lack of care. When he asked for money, they would look away. They would tear their gaze from his brother. They would grant him a look of annoyance. You're just a beta. Why do you need so much school? You're just a beta. Who are you dressing up for? Their sharp words pierced his heart. They left him bleeding and scarred. Because he was a beta. A mediocre, ordinary beta. In his bleak childhood, no sunlight ever reached him. He started working part-time jobs. He wanted to earn more money. Money could solve his problems. A busy life would stop him from seeking love. Through hard work, he got into a top university. He thought his parents would change their minds. Instead, they said resentfully, "So what if you got in? You're still just a beta. What can you achieve besides studying?" After that, he cut off contact with them. After graduation, he got a job at a big company. He was an office worker by day. He was a waiter at a bar by night. He needed money. Money brought him a sense of security. On his 23rd birthday, his parents called. It was the first time in years. His brother had caused trouble. He killed someone in a street race. They needed to pay a settlement. $1 million. Without the money, their precious alpha son would go to jail. The family house had been sold long ago. The family company went bankrupt during his sophomore year. In their time of crisis, they remembered him. They wanted him to provide the $1 million. In exchange, they would officially sever ties with him. They promised to never contact him again. He agreed. He considered it payment for raising him. He gave them all his savings. But it wasn't enough. He was short 500,000. He asked a coworker if there was a fast way to make money. She told him to sell his body. That night, he didn't wear his waiter uniform. He wore a light blue sailor outfit. Wearing this outfit meant he offered more than drinks. His heavy bangs were tied up by his coworker. She used a small clip to hold them in place. His black-framed glasses were taken off. His coworker marveled at his face. She applied lipstick for him. "I'll take you to VIP room 101. It's a group of young, handsome guys. They're all alphas. You won't lose out. Make your money and get out." He looked at his coworker gratefully. Room 101 was different from the others. There was no thick smoke. It wasn't chaotic. 4 or 5 alphas, the kind you only see in the news. They were lounging around. When he entered, the alpha in the middle looked up. The light above highlighted his brow bone. His handsome face made Leo's heart flutter. That was Caleb, the sole heir of the Lowell family. A top alpha, the dream man of every Omega in the country. A cigarette was held between his fingers. He slowly sat up straight. A faint smile played on his lips. He gestured to Leo. "Come here." Leo didn't move. The top alpha's aura was too intimidating. He didn't want to get involved with someone so dazzling. His coworker excitedly pushed him forward. "Go on. That's Caleb Lowell. One night with him and you'll have your money." He was tempted. "Really?" He whispered to his coworker. "Really? The cigarette in his hand is worth 50,000. Damn the rich." He walked towards Caleb with grim determination. The closer he got, the more nervous he became. He felt as if he were being surrounded. Something was pushing him towards Caleb. The group started to cheer. They wanted him to serve a drink with his mouth. He picked up a glass of wine, his scalp numb. Just as he was about to kneel, Caleb moved. He leaned forward slightly. He caught the rim of the glass with his lips. His eyes were locked on Leo. That was the first time he met his gray-blue gaze. Caleb drank the wine. But Leo was the one who felt intoxicated. Caleb carried him bridal style. They went to a suite on the top floor. He lay on the pure black sheets. Caleb blindfolded him and kissed him. It was a kiss that tasted of wine. It intoxicated him for the whole night. He bit down on a pillow. Caleb tossed it aside in frustration. He pressed close to him. He whispered in his ear, biting the lobe gently. "Good boy, Leo. Make some noise for me." The room was soundproof. He believed it. So he did. The next day, his voice was too hoarse to speak. There was a knock on the door. Caleb placed a lingering kiss on his lips. Then he carefully got out of bed. He opened the door, but didn't close it completely. Their conversation drifted in. "Your mother found out about last night. She wanted me to tell you something. Her future daughter-in-law cannot be a beta. The Lowell bloodline must continue." He didn't hear Caleb's reply. He just pulled the covers over his head. He pressed his fist against his aching stomach. He saw texts from his parents demanding the money. He realized that words could carry so much emotion. He realized the room wasn't soundproof after all. He realized Caleb was a very good liar. Just then, Caleb pulled back the covers. "Awake? You were faking it." He was not a good actor. "Just woke up," he mumbled. Caleb's hand touched the back of his neck. The place he had bitten last night. It was completely smooth. There was no gland. Pheromones couldn't be injected. There was only a tooth mark that would soon fade. "Liar. You were awake. Your eyes are bright." Caleb leaned in to kiss him. Leo pushed him away. Caleb looked at him with confusion. Leo licked his lips. He asked nervously, "How was my performance last night?" Caleb smiled. He leaned close to his ear and whispered, Amazing. Your legs opened wide. Your body was so soft. Your voice was beautiful, especially when you begged me to. Leo quickly covered his mouth. So, how much will you pay me? As the words left his mouth, Caleb's smile faded. How much do you want? Leo's palms were sweaty. His heart pounded. 500,000. No, 100,000 is fine. He lowered his head, his voice getting quieter. 5,000 would also be okay. After all, he had enjoyed it too. His inexperienced body had found release. He had experienced a feeling of pure bliss. What about Caleb? Perhaps a beta's body was too boring for him. Maybe just 1,000, or nothing at all. His confidence dwindled. Looking at Caleb's face and body, he felt tempted. He felt he should be paying Caleb instead. As he debated with himself, a black card appeared. He looked up. Caleb's expression was indifferent. The earlier warmth was gone. Unlimited balance. Wouldn't Caleb track his spending? Stop it, Leo. What is wrong with your mouth? He wanted to refuse. Caleb looked down at him. Not enough. That gaze was cold and devoid of emotion. The straight line of his lips slowly curved up. He took the black card with both hands. Enough. Of course it's enough. The moment he took the card, Caleb left. The door slammed shut with a deafening noise. The sound echoed in the empty room. His mother called. He answered the phone. A shrill female voice cut through the silence. Leo, where's the money? The remaining 500,000. You better give it to me today, or I'll cause a scene at your company. Then his father's voice came on. Leo, if you give us the money, we'll sever ties. We'll go to the authorities immediately. He looked at the setting sun. He hung up the phone. He hugged his knees, burying his face in his arms. The edge of the black card dug into his palm. Sharp pain shot through his brain. After that day, he became Caleb's bed partner. Caleb desired and he provided, until his fiancée appeared. That's when he knew his dream was over. It was time for him to leave. But he never expected a beta could get pregnant. And he never expected Caleb would find him. Leo, we're here. He struggled to open his eyes, pulling himself from memories. Caleb's handsome face was close to his. Before he could fully wake, Caleb lifted him. He carried him out of the car. I can walk myself. Caleb obediently set him down. Then he held out his hand. Leo didn't understand and didn't move. Caleb grabbed his hand. He held it tightly. Leo wanted to resist, but his strength was nothing compared to Caleb's. He was like a mayfly against a great tree. Besides, they were surrounded by bodyguards. There was no escape. Caleb led him through the estate. They passed a small zoo and an aquarium. They walked by a glass conservatory before reaching the main hall. The familiar housekeeper stood at the door. He greeted them. Young master's spouse. The title made Leo almost choke. Caleb, however, was very pleased. Are they here? He asked. The housekeeper nodded. They are all here, sitting in the drawing room. Good. Caleb nodded, tightening his grip on Leo's hand. He led him inside. They entered a grand, classic-style hall. The room was full of men and women, old and young. All eyes turned to him. He instinctively tried to retreat. Caleb looked back at him. His palm squeezed gently, transferring warmth. Leo, you're home now. You must greet the elders. Leo was stunned. He had only heard of new brides meeting the family. Why did he have to greet them? The rules of the wealthy were so complicated. He wanted to run again. Caleb looked at him with a half-smile. Come on. He followed him timidly. Caleb stopped walking. Leo quickly halted behind him. Caleb turned and pulled him to his side. Grandfather, grandmother, this is my love, Leo. Then Caleb nudged him. Call them Grandpa." Confused, he mumbled the word. His voice was as quiet as a mosquito's buzz. The old man in the main chair had a stiff smile, but he still handed over a thick envelope. The housekeeper passed it to him. It was very heavy. Caleb then led him around the room. The pile of envelopes in his hand grew. His wrist started to ache. After the greetings, he watched in confusion. Caleb had the housekeeper escort everyone out. He was about to ask why. Kai, who had been quiet, spoke up. "Silly Papa." This was a family introduction. Now everyone knows the position of Lowell's spouse is taken. "Stupid Papa. You were completely outsmarted by Father." Leo looked at the stack of envelopes. He thought, is this how rich people scheme? If so, could they do it more often? The people were gone. Only he and Caleb remained in the vast hall. He reluctantly handed the envelopes to him. Caleb waved his hand. "They're yours." Leo immediately pulled his hand back. "You little money lover." Caleb gestured for him to follow. "Follow me." He walked towards a large screen partition. With the money secured, Leo was less resistant. He followed him. He had Caleb's son in his belly. Caleb couldn't possibly kill him. He estimated the amount of cash in the envelopes. He trailed behind Caleb. Slowly, the light grew dimmer. He began to feel uneasy. "Caleb?" Caleb didn't answer, but he stopped walking. A door at the end of the hallway opened. Behind the door was complete darkness. Caleb walked inside. Leo paused, considering his options. Should he take the envelopes and leave? Kai spoke up again. "Papa, why don't you go in? There are many of Father's treasured collections inside." Treasures? He was shamefully tempted. He pressed himself against the wall. He moved slowly towards the door. The moment he stepped inside, the lights flashed on. The room's contents came into view. A huge golden birdcage reached the ceiling. It was adorned with pearls and gemstones. Inside, it was lined with soft woolen cushions. Behind the birdcage was a wall of glass display cases. Inside them were. Leo's face flushed. He turned to run, but the door had been closed silently behind him. There was no seam, no handle. Then Caleb approached him slowly. He placed a hand on the back of his neck. His sharp canine teeth pressed against the smooth skin. They pierced through suddenly. The envelopes scattered across the floor. Leo's pupils dilated. He reached out, but Caleb caught his hand. Pheromones flooded into him through the bite. Every part of his body was marked with basil. "Caleb," he gasped for air. Caleb turned his face and kissed him. When the kiss ended, he collapsed into his arms. He struggled to breathe evenly. Before he could react, Caleb lifted him up. He walked towards the birdcage. The soft blanket caught him, and he caught Caleb. "Leo, do you know what I was doing? For the 3 months you were gone." He looked into Caleb's dark, bottomless eyes. He instinctively recoiled. Caleb smiled and raised his hand. He snapped his fingers. "I was perfecting this basement. I hoped I wouldn't have to use it, but you let me catch you." His words and the snap happened simultaneously. The 6 walls of the room flipped. They slowly transformed into mirrors. His terrified expression was reflected everywhere, filled his vision. At that moment, he was truly afraid. Caleb really was a mad dog. He tried to run. Caleb caught him by the ankle and pulled him back. He clutched his stomach, his back against the bars. "No, Caleb. I'm pregnant." Caleb's expression didn't change at all. He simply said, "I know. I know everything about you. The doctor said it's safe. You can handle it now." "What does that mean?" Caleb's cool fingertips touched his face. His gray-blue eyes had a reddish tint. His voice trembled with restrained excitement. "My poor Leo, your eyes are so red. Something was wrong. The bite on his neck began to ache. He thought he could smell the scent of basil again. This was not right. He swallowed, trying to calm Caleb down. We should talk about this. Caleb tilted his head. His handsome face wore an expression of cruel innocence. Leo, I don't want to talk right now. I just want to have you. With that, his glasses were thrown aside. A sharp cracking sound cut him off from the clear world. Caleb's kiss was fierce and suffocating. He was drowning in that gray-blue ocean, pulled down into the abyss by the scent of basil. He was like a small boat on a vast sea, tossed about by the waves. His consciousness drifted in and out. During that time, his phone rang. It was Alex. Leo, Caleb's rut has started. Can you get out of the basement? You need to give him his inhibitor shot. Alex's words were cut off. Caleb had snatched the phone and smashed it. It shattered on the floor. And Alpha's rut was a period without reason. Their world was reduced to lust and release. And a rut could last for 7 days and 7 nights. No, Caleb, please stop. Let's get the shot. Okay? He was on the verge of tears. No, Caleb shook his head. His teeth sank into the already marked skin of his neck. The items from the display cases were all used. The scent of basil entered his body again. This time, even his deepest parts were marked. 7 days and 7 nights. Even if the pheromones didn't last, the scent would. He would be steeped in basil. He swayed, his eyes vacant, staring at the ceiling. Caleb's kisses covered his entire body. Get rid of it. He froze. What? Caleb looked at his small belly with jealousy. Get rid of it. Why should it get to be so close to you? Leo was speechless. Everyone knew alphas were possessive during their rut. But no one said it was this extreme. He would even reject his own child. He instinctively protected his stomach. But this action completely enraged Caleb. A new wave of passion began. The moon rose and set countless times. When he woke again, Caleb's rut was over. He stared blankly at the golden cage. Caleb wore a loose silk robe. His chest was covered in bright red scratches. Scratches he'd made when he couldn't take it anymore. Eat something. A warm bowl of porridge was held to his lips. He turned his head away, disgusted. When will you let me go? Caleb took a sharp breath, suppressing his anger. Leo, why are you so determined to leave me? He frowned. Why should I stay with you? Caleb was at a loss for words. After a moment, he gave a helpless laugh. Don't you love me? Do you love me? He retorted. Caleb answered immediately. I love you. Of course I love you. The words were too hollow. Verbal declarations of love were the emptiest. He didn't believe it. He didn't dare to believe it. He was just an ordinary beta. From the very beginning, their statuses were unequal. Leo, don't have any foolish hopes. Lower your expectations. Keep them low. He closed his eyes. He curled himself into a ball. Caleb, I want freedom. My own personal freedom. Caleb stood up. His tone was forceful. Impossible. He opened his red, swollen eyes. So you're gonna lock me up for a lifetime? Caleb bent down. His fingertips traced a small cut on Leo's lip. Yes. Until you're willing to love me. Until you're willing to stay. He looked into Caleb's obsessive, crazed eyes. His body trembled with either anger or fear. He was insane. Caleb was truly insane. He pulled the covers over his head, ignoring him. Caleb ripped them away. Stay here for 1 day, and I'll give you 100,000. Leo's heart shamefully fluttered. This damned capitalism. Could he get $1 million up front? Caleb was true to his word. He was really locked in the basement. His phone had been smashed during the rut. He had lost all forms of entertainment. Even Kai had been silent since they arrived. Caleb stayed by his side for several days. He didn't touch him, just watched. His intense gaze made his skin crawl. Thankfully, he had business today and left early. He was finally alone. He was about to collect the scattered envelopes. Kai's small voice finally spoke up. It was still milky, but now full of anger. "This is too much. It's really too much. Don't babies have rights? I was seeing stars without any. What were stupid Papa and stupid Father doing? I actually fainted." He scratched his head and continued picking up envelopes. Kai was still complaining. "Why is Papa still in the basement? Haven't they talked things out yet? So troublesome. Mouths aren't just for eating. I guess I have to step in. But how can I get Papa to see Father's phone? Your father already knows." He sat on the floor counting the envelopes. He was afraid some were missing. Thankfully, the number was correct. He put them under his pillow, then felt unsafe. He unzipped the pillowcase and stuffed them inside. Then he switched his pillow with Caleb's. The most dangerous place is the safest. After hiding his money, he thought about Kai's words. What was on Caleb's phone? What hadn't been said? He fell into a deep sleep while thinking. He hadn't been sleeping well at night. He could only catch up during the day. He slept until it was dark again. He opened his eyes. Caleb had returned at some point. He was sitting on the edge of the bed. His eyes were fixed on him. That look, his body tensed. The back of his neck ached. "I'm hungry," he said. Caleb's intimidating gaze softened. He got up and leaned closer. "What do you want to eat?" He didn't avoid his kiss, mumbling that anything was fine. Caleb agreed softly. He gave him a deep look, then left the basement. When the door closed, he finally exhaled. "Papa, Father didn't take his phone. Quick, open it and see. The password is 7512. He turned his head. Caleb had indeed left his phone behind. He picked it up. The lock screen was a dim photo. It looked like a person, but he couldn't see clearly. He entered the password Kai gave him. It opened. Gallery. Papa opened the gallery. He tapped on the icon. He froze. Why did Caleb have these? The gallery was full of videos and photos of him. Some were from security cameras. Others were candid shots. There were thousands of them. His hands trembled as he scrolled to the bottom. The date on the first video was from March. That was when he had just started working at the bar. Why did Caleb even have a video of his interview? His breathing became ragged. He went through everything, unable to believe it. Over 200 gigabytes of photos and videos. All of him. His hands began to cramp. He numbly closed the phone. He looked up and saw Caleb leaning against the doorway. He didn't know how long he had been standing there. His gray-blue eyes reflected the dim light. His beautiful eyes held only Leo's reflection. They stared at each other across the distance. Neither of them spoke. The silence remained unbroken. He pressed his thumb into his palm, about to speak. Caleb was already walking towards him. He knelt in front of him at eye level. He held the back of his neck and kissed him. He instinctively opened his lips. A soft laugh escaped Caleb's throat. His ears turned red. Caleb held his neck with one hand. He gently pinched his earlobe with the other. Good boy. The kiss was too gentle. He was slowly losing himself in it. Kai's milky voice almost broke with frustration. Caleb, Leo, you two are too much. I'm seeing stars again. This is so annoying. Stop kissing. I'm so dizzy. I'm going to sleep. Good night, Papa. It was too early for good night. The kiss had stirred Caleb's desire again. Good night turned into good afternoon. He was held tightly from behind by Caleb. Aren't you going to say something? His whole body ached. He was too tired to talk. Caleb was marking him all over like a dog. "Ask me anything and I'll tell you." He wanted to ask, but he didn't know where to start. He had always passively accepted his fate, his mediocre status, his biased family, his dead-end job. He had convinced himself to accept mediocrity. Then fate sent him a person as bright as the sun. He didn't know how to accept this gift. He didn't know if he should accept it. He was just an ordinary beta. He had no pheromones. He couldn't even comfort Caleb during his rut. He shouldn't accept this. Fate must have made a mistake. Caleb deserved a better choice. He closed his eyes. He waited until the dryness was replaced by moisture. He stared at the dust motes in the air. He finally spoke. "Caleb, when will you let me go?" He could feel the body behind him stiffen. His own heart felt like it was being squeezed. Even breathing was painful. Caleb tightened his arms. He pressed his face against Leo's spine. "Leo, stay." It was a command, but he heard a plea within it. Warm liquid dripped down his back. It seeped into his heart. "Caleb, you can't keep me locked up forever." Caleb's tone turned fierce. "I can. Leo, I can." Their hearts were so close, yet they were so far apart. After that day, Caleb became even busier. He would come back at night. He wouldn't do anything. He would just hold him while he slept. He held him very, very tightly. He would kiss him after he fell asleep. Caleb cried a lot. Every time he kissed him, tears stained his lips. They tasted as sour as lemons. On a bright, sunny day, Alex came to visit. He smiled at Leo. "You've gained some weight. You look even better." He was surprised to see him. Alex put his hands on his hips, exasperated. "I swear you two are impossible. You both have mouths. Why don't you talk? He's at the office looking miserable all day. You're here looking depressed. You obviously love each other. Why can't you just say it?" He wanted to deny it. Alex waved his hand. "No need to explain. Since you won't talk, I will. I'm tired of watching this." Alex sat cross-legged in front of him. "Tell me, what are you afraid of?" He opened his mouth to protest. Alex cut him off. "I know. You think because you're a beta without pheromones. You think you're not good enough for Caleb." "How did he know?" Alex scoffed. "And do you know why Caleb made you meet everyone? The day he brought you back?" He shook his head. Alex tapped his forehead gently. "You fool. It was to ease your insecurities." "What insecurities?" Alex slowly recounted what had happened. The 3 months he was gone. After he left, Caleb was furious. He quickly found his flight and destination. But he didn't come after him right away. Instead, he analyzed the reasons for his departure. He even made a PowerPoint presentation about it. He remembered your first time together. Everything was fine at first. Then he stepped out for a moment, and you asked him for money. He figured you must have overheard his conversation. That's why meeting the family was the first priority. Alex handed him his phone. On the screen was a detailed analysis. The central question was, why is my darling angry? Caleb's life isn't as glamorous as it seems. My parents are very strict. Because I'm an Omega, they kept me hidden. Alex sighed, lying down on the floor. Because Caleb is an alpha, he had to learn many things. When he was 18, he rebelled. Street racing, fighting, all sorts of dangerous things. My parents couldn't stop him. They sent him to a military boarding school abroad. When he came back, he was even wilder. Then one day, he said he wanted to take over the business. He started smiling foolishly at his phone every day. Alex looked at Leo. He said he fell in love at first sight. The person he loved liked money, so he had to make a lot of money. A terrible suspicion formed in Leo's mind. Alex confirmed it immediately. You guessed it. It was you. He went to the bar where you worked every day. He took secret pictures. He even used his trust fund to buy the bar. He spent his nights ING security footage. When he heard you were going to sell yourself, he was overseas. He chartered a helicopter and flew back immediately. He was afraid he would be too late. But in the end, you still left. He was so upset. He locked himself in his room with your old clothes. He cried for 3 days. Leo listened in shock. Alex suddenly sat up. "Hey, did you know? After your first time," he cried. "The next day when you asked for money," he cried then too. He got the room next door. He cried so hard you could hear it. A numbness spread through his chest. Caleb cried. Alex nodded. "Yes, that's all I can say. The rest is up to you two to solve. Leo, you are a very good person. You deserve love." He looked up sharply. Alex smiled and nodded at him. He thought, Caleb has a good brother. Caleb returned that night. He took off his suit and was about to hold him. He stopped him. "We need to talk." Caleb paused. "Are you leaving again?" "No." He took Caleb's hand. "Do you like me?" Caleb's hand closed around his. "Yes." His voice was firm and unwavering. He lowered his gaze. "Alex told me a lot today." "I know," Caleb said. "My brother told me. Father is lying. He installed cameras in the room. Lots of them. They blink after Papa falls asleep." He sighed. He knew it. But that didn't matter now. He only had one question. If a highly compatible Omega appeared in the future, what would you do? Caleb smiled. "There will be no one else. My glands won't react to anyone else." He sensed something was wrong. "What does that mean?" Caleb looked proud, as if sharing a great achievement. "I had surgery on my glands. The moment you left. In this life, I can only have you, Leo." His heart felt heavy. He immediately looked at Caleb's neck. The Alpha's presence was strong, overpowering. He couldn't smell pheromones, so he could never have known. The faint bitterness he had smelled before was real. Caleb's glands were truly damaged. Tears streamed down his face. Caleb frantically tried to wipe them away. He grabbed his hand. "Caleb, it takes a lot of money to keep me for a lifetime." Caleb's gray-blue eyes lit up with joy. They shone like brilliant sapphires. "How much?" He smiled at him. He leaned up and kissed his lips. "Not a single cent." Caleb hugged him tightly. His tears soaked his shirt. Caleb was crying. He pushed him back slightly. He wrapped his arms around his neck. He kissed his lips again. He tasted Caleb's tears once more. They were sweet. One kiss was not enough. Before he lost himself completely, he heard Kai's voice. It was a small, exasperated, milky voice. He said, "All right, annoying father and papa. I'll forgive you for making me see stars this time. You must be happy. And wait for me to come out." They held each other close. Two hearts beating at the same time. Alive and passionate. "Kai, Caleb and I are both waiting for you."